want to interview people that have played a significant part in the development and the growth of the festival events. And of course, without the endowment, we would not be here today. So we want
you're very kind. Thank you.
Oh, that's true. So we wanted to just get an opportunity to get your thoughts on why you decided to support and why you guys think it's important to be a part of this process. But the first thing I wanted to do, I wanted to give you a synopsis of how we put this together, how this all came together. Because I actually met you in 2018.
Right.
So in 2012, we had Sandy Hook Elementary killing. And then after we had Sandy Hook, we were looking at, man, there's so many other youth killings inside our own area, inside the city of Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Courier had a news article they was running every week or every month about, and it was titled "Killings by Us," and it was about Black people killing Black people and young people killing young people, and they would give you statistics on how many murders had happened in that particular month. So that was kind of devastating to us. And then what ended up happening is in 2013, I had two of my family members that got murdered. One got murdered in a robbery, and then a female cousin got killed, domestic violence. Her boyfriend beat her up and killed her. So we was trying to figure out, at least I was trying to figure out, what kind of programs or what could I do to really try to help curb violence within the community. And we decided to come up with the organization Stop the Violence Pittsburgh. But my natural background prior to that was promoting events. So I would do like concerts and club events and comedy shows and gospel shows and stuff like that. So what I came up with was the idea of thinking about doing some type of festival event, a free festival event, or at that time it wasn't free, a festival event that would unify the community. When I grew up as a kid, we had in Homewood, they had the Harambe when I was like a real.
I remember that.
Then on the Hill District, they had another festival. On the north side, they had another big festival. And it didn't matter if you was from St. Clair Village, you would go to Homewood. If you was from the Hill District, you would go to the north side, and it would be multi-generational. And people would just come together and just be a part of this grand event. So I thought about doing something like that, and we decided to do our first event was the Juneteenth Increase the Peace event at Stage AE. And we were able to get maybe 10 organizations to partner with us. We ended up honoring like 10 or 15 organizations from the community that was doing stuff to curb violence, particular individuals. But at this event at Stage AE, we had about maybe 75 people and maybe 25 was family members and friends. So it wasn't really a big crowd. And then, but we moved from there and we went to the Strip District. And we did a next event in 2014, a Juneteenth, but another, just a community day type event. And it started to grow. Maybe we got 150 people. So we moved from there and we went to Market Square in 2015. So okay. From 2015 to 2017, when we decided to go to the point, we were in Market Square. And gradually it started to pick up. And we started getting more people involved in the festival event. So then we came up with the bright idea, well, let's try to go to the point. So we decided to go down to the point in 2018. And this is when we got
involved through the State Park Service.
Right. Because they had the policy of you had to come up with $10,000 security deposit in order to refundable security deposit in order to host an event. And at that time we had no money. If we had $10,000, man, we would be so happy just to try to put that inside the event. And we were so thankful. I ended up talking to Secretary Dunn and Mr. Norbick. And then they told me, okay, we're going to try to work out something. We're going to try to talk to the Heinz Endowment. And they contacted you. And when they contacted you, that's how we first engaged with you guys about being a part of the festival event. So you can pick it up from that.
All right. Yeah, I did get that call. And I was intrigued for a couple of reasons. One, Juneteenth is incredibly meaningful and deserves to be celebrated everywhere. Second, let's just face it, Point State Park is not exactly a place that is welcoming most of the times to Pittsburgh's Black community or to Black tourists in this area. That is colonial space. It is empire space. It is not about the Black experience. And the opportunity,
Thank you.
it's about colonialism. It's not welcoming particularly or oriented toward, for that matter,
Correct.
Black people. And so a chance to change that, even a little, was very appealing to me. And it was appealing to the park managers themselves, who were concerned about the lack of diversity in that park.
Oh, yes. Just to cut you off there, I had a great conversation with Secretary Dunn and Mr. Norbeck on that point right there about bringing some more diversity inside the park there. So I'm glad you mentioned that. But go ahead. Sorry about
that. That appealed to me. Starting to decolonize the space appealed to me. And celebrating Juneteenth, this enormous historical event, appealed to me. And so we made those first grants. And of course, it was tremendously successful. And you expanded your programming with the Black History Month programming, the Soul Food Festival, the Black Music Festival. That got my colleagues, Karen Abrams and Shonda McDill, interested. Shonda from the arts side. And of course, she's now the managing director of the Pittsburgh Public Theater.
Correct.
And Karen Abrams, now the city planning director on my team, they really liked the range of programming and activities. So we upped our game and started giving more to these activities. And of course, they were all tremendously successful. So it's kind of what foundation people live for, is where you start something starts small. Foundations, and foundations, I have a dog pushing on me, so that's why the camera fell. Foundations and corporations and others got excited and grew the organization, and it's a roaring success. And you and the organizers should be very proud of what you've accomplished. And because of you, now Juneteenth is a holiday here, and it's spread nationally. And we went, we used to be, I think, you correct me on this, we used to be the largest Juneteenth celebration outside of sort of Texas, Louisiana, Georgia, but now I think one of the largest anywhere. And
so what actually happened in 2021, our growth kind of really blew up then. What happened in 2020? So we came out of COVID in 2020, and there's a national organization called the Juneteenth Observation Society, and it's including it's organized about 47 Juneteenth programs throughout the country. And in 2020, everybody made a decision not to have Juneteenth in the outdoor space because of COVID. They didn't want to have no gathering events. But we proceeded to say that we were still going to have our Juneteenth celebration at the point in 2021. And what ended up happening was in 2021, the Three Rivers Arts Festival had decided to not host their event at the point, which opened up to get in there kind of
longer time. Yeah,
for a longer time, and actually during the Juneteenth celebration, because when we initially went into the point, because of the Three Rivers Arts Festival, we had to really go in like maybe June the 20th and June the 21st, not around the 19th, which is actually the celebration. But what happened in 2021, because they had declined to host their event, we were able to get in there during the Juneteenth celebration, and we created the Juneteenth celebration and combined that with the Black Music Festival, which was actually an 8-day celebration. So
I remember that now.
In 2021, in June or May, Pennsylvania lifted all its restrictions on COVID and about outside gathering. And in 2021, the national government, a week or 2 weeks just before June 19th, decided to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. Right. So because we had promoted our festival all across the country, when we opened up to hold the event, we saw over maybe 70,000 people for an 8-day period. And it became the largest Juneteenth celebration across the country because No one
Wow.
else had decided to do Juneteenth, and we got our biggest bite and boom off of that with these numbers right there. One of the particular things that happened in 2021 that was critical to our success and opportunity to hold these festivals was that initially, as we went into Point Park State Park, the park rangers have been charging us a $10,000 refundable security deposit. But maybe 3 weeks before the festival,
I remember this. I
they
remember this.
told us that the fee was no longer going to be $10,000. It was going to be $25,000. And we didn't have that money. We didn't have no extra $15,000. And you stepped up to the plate and you said, I guess you contacted whoever you talked to, Mr. Norbrick, somebody. And you said that we're going to put up the $25,000 for the refundable
Permanently.
fee. Permanently.
Yeah, it's just there.
Yeah,
They
it's
can
this
draw on it if they need it.
So Mr. Norbert told me that, hey, they called me and told me, man, whenever you have a festival down there, whatever it is, the Black Music Fest of Juneteenth, that $25,000 is good for your events, and they will, continue on to support that. And so that was so important to us. You really don't understand, because we had no money and we had no way to come up with that $15,000, and all our work and effort, it looked like was going to be kind of man.
Yeah,
but
there
not.
was no way we were going to let that happen. That was just not going to happen. So yeah, I was happy to come up with that, and now it's permanently parked there at the state park system has that money on deposit, and it's there whenever you need it.
Oh, that's so fantastic. So in having your discussions with other members of the Heinz Endowment, what are some of the things that you guys discuss in the thought process that you came up with in supporting some of our events? Because initially you also support the Black History Month educational program that we have for the students and families. So it's more expansive than just the Juneteenth celebration.
Yeah, we did fund that. I hope we're still funding it.
Yeah, you're still funding.
Okay, good. I think at that point, you and your team had earned our trust that you were going to do quality work, and we were happy to expand as you expand and increase our giving. So my colleague Mac Howison, who works on our after-school programming, gave me the green light to fund that work, and I continue to do that, out of the grant that I manage. And when you added the
Youth Fest.
when you added, the Youth Fest, and then you added the Music Festival, Black Music Festival, that got my colleague, Shonda McDill, interested. And so her program came up, when we went to $100,000 a year, half of that is coming from our arts program and half of it's coming from my budget. So that's how we sort of split that up. And, but we do it as obviously, it's just easier for you and it's easier for us to do it as one grant. And what's nice about the way in which the Heinz endowments have evolved over the last 10 years is we're doing a lot more of that kind of work. We're not in our silos so much anymore, like, oh, this is what I do and I don't do what she does and whatever. We now are making, I would say 15 years ago,
it's more of
it might have been harder for us to work across our little tiny bureaucracies, but that's our previous president kind of knocked all those walls down. So that made it real easy for me to work with Shonda on getting that done. And again, I think the chief thing we're thinking is how, since 2018, how successful this suite of activities has been, what an important part of the calendar it is now for the community as a whole. And, it's activating Market Square, it's activating Point State Park. And, those are all things we really love to see happen. So as I said earlier, we really like it when something starts and gets rolling and grows and meets an important community need. I mean, that's why we're here. That's why the family set this money aside.
That's fantastic. So one of the greatest things, accomplishments that I think that we take so much pride in is what we were able to do last year with the economic impact that we had within the community. So within the community and with your funding and help, through the festival, our major festival events, we were able to generate $4.4 million. And we were blessed to have Visit Pittsburgh as a partner who actually did the impact study on tourism. And for the Juneteenth, they came up with $1.6 million. And for the Black Music Festival, I think it was $1.4 million. And what we end up doing is we end up doing a survey of the vendors that we had in the festival. And then, so as a combined total, it came up to $1.4 million. And that is like one of the major things that I am so happy about, because now we're moving beyond just having a social impact within the community. We're actually being able to help some people make some money, bring that back into our societies and our communities, spend some money, do something to get out of this rut that we're in. Explain how the foundation feels about those activities.
It's very important, and of course, it's happening. Downtown's really struggling right now because you've had you have fewer people coming into work. I work downtown about 3 days a week. I used to be there every day. So, bringing that business into town, bringing those people into town, all those activities in and around the downtown Point area, that's just a lifesaver for people, particularly small business. And then the entrepreneurs and others that you have in the food festival, and the opportunity for them to build up a customer base and sell food at the Soul Food Festival, I think is amazing. It all has a big impact, and it's helping keep downtown alive in a lot of ways. So that's my reaction there. And we are, concerned that, what's going to become of downtown if we continue to see a lot fewer people working there. The hope is things like what you do will help bring it back.
Yeah, it's been a major shift, particularly with the model of having everybody work from home, and that's what really kind of changed the situation through the COVID thing. That you got people that don't even want to go back to work; they rather work from home, and
Yep.
So downtown, and you can see the shift with them turning a lot of those empty spaces into hotels and just
Apartments.
apartment buildings and things of that nature. It's really deep because downtown used to be such a vibrant area, but we're hoping that with these festival events and other festival events similar to ours, Three Rivers Arts Festival, other things that's going on downtown, that we can help make a boost to the economy down there. We know the hotels are doing great because they're the beneficiaries of people coming in from out of town. For example, one of the reports in Visit Pittsburgh, they talk about 50% of our attendees for the Black Music Festival came from out of town. While they said it was about 30,000 people, we think it was more than that, but it was 30,000 people. That's 15,000 people, they said, came in from out of town. So that was amazing to us. We're just trying to build up more and more and try to really double what we did last year with our opportunities for this year. What do you think about the expansion and growth? Because you, as being one of the first foundations to really join us in the beginning of this process, it's just crazy to me that you were there. Like, so you guys came in for the Juneteenth celebration. Then we expanded it into 2018 to the student event at Soldiers and Stuff. We came in with that. 2019, we did the Soul Food Festival. And we started the Soul Food Festival because actually we went to Cincinnati, me and my wife. We were down there for a music festival. And while we were down there for the music festival, we seen that, oh, they had a Soul Food Festival. And then I got the bright ideas, oh, we can do the same thing back home. So that's how we ended up coming home and doing the Soul Food Festival. So you guys supported the Soul Food Festival. Then we expanded with the Black Music Festival. You guys supported the Black Music Festival. Then we expanded with the Youth Fest. You guys supported the Youth Fest. And I'm mentioning all this because you are the only foundation, although we've been pleading and begging and requesting a lot of other people to help us. You guys have been the only foundation that has really been solid in our corners to help us produce these free to the community events. That's the distinction. A lot of people are telling me, well, why don't you charge? Why don't you charge a fee? Why don't you? We know that our community doesn't have funding like that. We're trying to accomplish a couple of different things. But mainly through these events, we believe that we end up changing the psyche and the depressive state that people may have to be able to come out. The same thing I felt as when I was a child, that when I was able to go to these events, I felt I seen a community that I've never seen before. I seen like multi-generational people, and it just made me feel so good. So that's my drive in doing this. My drive is to really, just have an impact socially and economically on the community.
And you've done it, and you've done it really well. And that explains why we've stepped up with you and upped our giving, because of the track record. I mean, you've proven yourself and your team, and and it's not just in the number of people that attend, but I look at the quality of the music that comes and the quality of people you're bringing into the community. Musicians that I have great respect for are coming to Juneteenth and coming to the Black Music Festival. It's a great bunch of programming. The Juneteenth celebration, I don't want to lose that, because I think Pittsburgh Juneteenth certainly at minimum spurred Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh to declare Juneteenth a holiday. And I think you had a big impact on the national declaration as well. So, that's just a really great track record over a 5-year period, 6-year period. Now, I realize you've been at it for 10, but the last 6 years have just seen explosive growth and impact. And so that's why we like what you do and why we want to be helpful.
Well, we appreciate that. My wife's over here shaking her head. She's not on. You can't see it. Appreciate them.
Well, thank her for all she does as well.
Yeah, she's
but you've got a fabulous track record here the last 5 years, and I think you've had a big impact on Pittsburgh and the surrounding area. And it's really valuable and important things you're doing. So I'm just glad that Cindy Dunn picked up the phone and asked me.
Oh, I'm so glad that she called you. You just don't know. Well, okay, Andrew, that's all we got for today. I just wanted to be able to get that. And what we're doing with these clippings, we're like your clipping, I'm actually going to show that. And hopefully you guys can make it to the gala at one time. I know you can't take anything in exchange for nothing, but we have the Black Tie Gala on May the 19th.
May 19th, okay, writing it down.
At the Sheridan.
I have to rent a black tie. I don't own one.
So guess what? I have to get one every year. I got a guy that I work with every year in Monroeville, and I exchange his information for him giving me a suit. So yeah, I'm in that situation too. But it's important that you guys come, because we want to actually identify some of the people that's been helping us, because we know without this help, we really wouldn't be able to do these things. And this year, actually, the city ended up stepping up to the plate by actually giving us funding as opposed to just city. So they gave us funding this year. I had a big argument with them last year about not giving us funding, because all the funding we get goes directly to the festival event. So for the first time in the history of Juneteenth and across the country, we are going to have Juneteenth fireworks on June 19th. So no other city in America has Juneteenth fireworks. It'll be similar to the 4th of July fireworks. And we're about to make that announcement.
Well, you know
soon.
how crazy this town is about fireworks. We'll set off fireworks for the opening of an envelope. So that's great.
Yeah, that's we're so proud of that. We're so happy about that, because again, Juneteenth has been going on since 1865, and no one in the country we'll be the first first city to have Juneteenth fireworks.
Isn't that great? Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, that's exciting. When I went and met with the firework people, and I explained that to them, because they didn't know what Juneteenth is. There was an older gentleman, and he was like, "Well, this is like a second Independence Day." I say, "Yes, sir, you're right.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is."
Yeah, it's the second Independence Day. He said, "Oh, and they don't do it nowhere else." They don't do it nowhere else. You're going to be the first company to do Juneteenth fire. it's like they stood up and stood at attention. We are so
That's
honored to
great.
be able to do this. Yeah, I mean, it's like we are so honored to be able to do this, and they were able to understand it, to grasp the significance of it. That was so powerful to me. So I'm so happy. We're not going, so we won't have fireworks like the 4th of July, but we're gonna have something. You know what I mean?
Hey, I think it's fabulous. I think it's just another great addition to the program, and another example of, you know, how all of these activities continue to build and expand and offer more to the community. And I think that's great.